How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? So, as you read the title, this video is going to be a Jojo. It's going to be a Jojo. Yes, it is. Yeah, before I start this video, first of all, if you want to join the Discord, you can join the Discord. It's in the link down below. Yeah. Self-plugging, I know, shameless plugin. Hey, who cares? So you want to join the Discord, there, it's quite a good community right now. So if you want to join that, the link is in the description down below, as it has always been. And obviously with part 5 hopefully coming maybe one day soon, who knows. We're all waiting for part 5. And I believe like yesterday, like the Kishibe Rohan OVA came out. I've still not seen that, just not had the time yet. I'll probably do a live reaction to that once I actually have some time. Funny saying that I've got time right now, but I'm doing this video instead. Anyway, the whole point of this video is why part 3 of Jojo is my favorite, and it's a video I actually wanted to make for quite a long time. It's a video that honestly I should have been done a few months ago. I don't know why, I just never really made like a video about it, because I know a lot of people have different opinions, especially with Jojo. Obviously I'm just talking about strictly the anime. A lot of people have obviously very different opinions, but part 3 has always been my favorite. Part 3 obviously being the whole Jotaro, Polnareff, Avdol, just the whole gang. And for me, I feel like I have to get my opinion out on this, because I know, like, objectively speaking, I know this is my bias speaking. I know for a fact that part 3 is not best in terms of formula, in terms of just overall what happens, because it's ultimately just like a villain of the week kind of thing. Where it is a goal and whatnot, but it's still kind of a villain of the week. And then especially part 3.2, I guess you could say, part 3.2, it's the same thing again, just stronger opponents, and that's just the way it progresses. So it's not really story-wise, there's not really much in it. It's just a very simple goal. We want to get to Dio, and then you just have layers after layers after layers, and it's just going from point A to point B. Whereas, for example, something like part 2 or part 4, they have like, it's still point A to point B, but they have like, okay, we're gonna go, first of all we're gonna go to C, then we're gonna go to D, then we're gonna go to E, then we're gonna go to Z, and then we're gonna go back to B. Especially part 2, I feel like that's why I think overall part 2 is probably the best Jojo, objectively speaking. Part 4 was probably the most fun I've had, in all honesty, but part 3 is just my favorite, just because of the characters. I've actually just recently rewatched part 1 and part 2, which is why I'm actually, which is why I'm so confident in saying that part 2 is probably the best Jojo out there, that's been released right now. But part 3 is just my favorite. 2 reasons really. I like Jotaro a lot, and Polnareff was pretty awesome. I mean, it got to a point, I think, where everyone universally can agree it's not really Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, it's more so Polnareff's Bizarre Adventure. And I think that's kind of that's why part 3 is probably my favorite, because the interesting dynamic. You have somebody like the main character Jotaro, who is just very quiet. He's just, you don't see him speak, you don't really see him do anything. He's just quiet, and he doesn't, he's just like, yeah, well, Oda. That's it. That's all he does. That's all he does throughout the whole thing. Yada. And he just beats them up. And that's all there is to that Jojo. There's all there is to Jojo part 3. But then you have Polnareff and Iggy as well, who just lighten the mood. And it's just such a perfect chemistry. Like Polnareff, I really like. You guys know that already. He's my favorite character in part 3 of Jojo, and that is despite there being Jotaro. So that really says it all. But like I said, part 3 is just my favorite. Although objectively speaking, that is not the case. Objectively, like I said, it's probably part 2, because part 2 had very interesting plot. It moved from area to area, and it still had that interesting plot. You got very interesting characters. There was just, everything was just awesome. Like the ending was awesome, and it's just awesome all around. But I feel like character-wise, I still have to go with part 3. You have Dio. Who doesn't like Dio? Who does not like Dio? Everyone likes Dio. You've got Dio, you've got Jotaro, you've got Polnareff, you've got Iggy, then you've got like sort of, yeah, I was gonna say Joseph, but does that really count as Joseph? In terms of like just characters that you instantly love, and then obviously there are characters that you either like, such as Kakyun, and after all, you either like them or you don't like them at all. So or they're just okay, but they're not really characters that, you know, somebody will love, such as Polnareff or Jojo. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Probably should have rewatched part 3 before I actually made this video, but I just feel like part 3. I feel like I had to share this. And like I said, I feel like I had to share this a few weeks ago, a few months ago, because I know how many people don't like part 3. Shockingly, I didn't realize that until I actually spoke to more Jojo fans. They're like, yeah, part 3, it's like part 1, just meh. And I'm like, really? Really? How can you say part 3 is meh? Part 4 was very fun though. You know, part 4 was very fun though with Josuke, and it was just, I don't know, it was nice as well. Like the characters were there as well. If I had to probably rate them, I'd probably go 3, 2, 4, 1. And then despite that, you know, despite me saying that part 4 is probably the most fun I've had watching JoJo, because just look at the characters and just because like the stand mechanic was just taken to another level, whereas in part 3 it was just introduced. I like that. I like that. You know, just kind of introduced like here, there are stands, and then you're just like, okay, stands, cool. And part 4 is like, okay, stands. You already knew about that, but let's make that bigger, better, Burger King. That's what it is. That's what it is. But I still think part 2 is just overall just the best. But part 3 is still my favorite. That's the whole point of this video. Like, if I were objectively speaking, if I were to actually rank them, you know, give them a grade, if I were to actually review them, I would probably give part 1, which I thought was very, very good for what it tried to do. I'd probably give that like a 7.5, 7, probably a 7 out of 10. Then you have part 2, which I'll probably give like a, if like, you know, just objectively ranking, probably a 9 out of 10. Part 3, which I'd probably give like an 8 out of 10, and then part 4, which I'd probably give like an 8.5 out of 10. If I was to rank them though, by the way, there's no 10. There's never a 10 in my list. There's not been a single show that has gotten a 10 from me. But if I were to rank them, like just on personal bias, I would probably give part 1 a 7 out of 10. So it's the same really. Part 2 is probably like an 8 out of 10. Part 3 is a 9 out of 10, and then part 4 is probably like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. But that's just my thoughts. And obviously, like I said, hopefully we're gonna get part 5 announcement soon, one day. Who knows? But yeah, part 3 is the best. No opinion matters. Your opinion does not matter on that. Part 3 is the best. That is fact. That's 100% fact. Obviously, I'm just joking. Tell me what your opinion is on which part of the 4 you like the most. And hopefully part 5 will come out sooner or later. Apparently part 7 is supposed to be really, really good, so I'm really looking forward to that when that eventually comes out. Hopefully one day, maybe someday. But yeah, we'll see. Part 3 for the win.